Tonight on CTV News at 6. Police officers in Greater Sudbury were kept busy.
There's so many other options as far as impaired driving goes. I don't think people fully understand their decisions.
7 people were charged in a span of just 3 days. It's a deadly reminder.
I have to go by the spot 2 times a day, every day, to go to work, where she took her last breath.
Ontario New Democrats produce a documentary on the dangers of Highways 11 and 17. And it went into effect Friday.
I fully support their move on that, to bring it to 50 kilometers until they fill the potholes. And that should be done, I'm assuming, this week.
A 9-kilometer stretch between Timmins and Iroquois Falls is in bad shape.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. Officers in Sudbury charged 7 drivers over the weekend with impaired-related offenses. Officials say despite the province making changes to penalties, police continue to see more than 300 impaired-related arrests every year. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
From Friday at 2:30 p.m. to Sunday at 3:20 a.m., officers in Sudbury removed 7 impaired drivers because of proactive patrols, investigative follow-up, and calls from concerned community members.
This included 4 motor vehicle collisions, 1 ATV collision, a disturbance, and then an incident that resulted in the seizure of a firearm.
Dunn says those charged were all men between the ages of 21 to 55, with 6 out of the 7 under the age of 29.
A few of these incidents were related to individuals contacting us with information of an alleged impaired driver. And when officers arrived on scene, they were able to determine that the individual was either impaired by drugs or by alcohol.
Every driver charged with impaired over 80 or impaired determined by a drug recognition expert received a 90-day license suspension and their vehicle impounded for 7 days.
First things first, thanks given to the Greater Sudbury Police for saving 7 people's lives, potentially, and I mean, probably more, but those numbers are so disappointing at this point. There's so many other options as far as impaired driving goes. I don't think people fully understand their decisions.
Hancock is a longtime advocate against impaired driving, having lost her son DJ in a crash involving a drunk driver 11 years ago.
We deal with that every day. So it's just so preventable. Sudbury needs to do better, as far as I'm concerned.
Hancock says she feels penalties need to be stiffer. And for those thinking about getting behind the wheel, think of DJ and his family first. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
North Bay police have released an age-progressed image of Glenn Wesley, who has been missing for 16 years. Wesley was a patient at the Northeast Mental Health Hospital in 2010. He was granted a short-term pass to leave the facility September 15th. He was 28 years old at the time. It was believed he was heading to downtown North Bay when he left the hospital at 1 that afternoon, but never returned. Police say they've had unconfirmed sightings of him over the years in Timmins, Cochrane, and New Liskeard. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business released a report indicating half of small business owners say crime has increased in their community. In Elliott Lake, OPP officers were called to a business Sunday after it was reported a person loaded a laundry basket with items and left the store without paying. The suspect was found on Ontario Avenue a short while later. According to police, the 19-year-old tried to flee and assaulted an officer during the arrest. Meanwhile, a 51-year-old is in custody after a pair of break-ins at businesses in Goulet River near Sault Ste. Marie. Police say they were notified of the first break-in April 8th around 4:30 a.m. at a business on Highway 17 in Goulet River. Not long after, officers were dispatched to a second business along the highway. Surveillance footage was used to identify the suspect, and he was arrested. Police also reported the vehicle he was driving had been reported stolen from the Sault earlier in the day. In Sudbury, business owners are concerned about crime, but some still favor the downtown area despite it. CTV's Madison Merrier has more on the CFIB report and the local reaction.
Small businesses in downtown Sudbury say they are no stranger to crime, but it hasn't been a major problem for their stores.
I've been down since 1988, and there's always been, crime of some sort happening, but it's never interfered with my business, and I've been fortunate and lucky. So I do take steps also. I have security, I have cameras.
We are very lucky that we have our stall here, like shop here in the proper downtown space, but it is very unfortunate that we went through that event. So one day we came and we saw someone broke our glass, one of our glass, door glass.
Hussein said it was a learning experience, and now they keep lights on overnight and have purchased CCTV cameras as a prevention measure.
And a lot of the times these things take a toll out of their financial bottom line for small businesses, especially for smaller businesses that don't have the resources that, let's say, a major grocer.
CFIB couldn't give any northern specific data, but called on national data, saying crime and safety issues are adding more pressure to small businesses, and they hope policymakers make changes.
For businesses in the long term right now, Canada, we're seeing an entrepreneurial drought, which just means that we're seeing more business exits than we're seeing openings. Crime and safety issues, this is just fuel that adds to the fire of all of this.
Though crime may be a concern for some businesses, many of the owners we spoke with said that they love being downtown and hope to see some new small businesses move to the location.
I think the downtown is getting a new facelift, and a lot of positive things happening.
Every city's downtown is the heart.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Families of people who died in collisions on Highways 11 and 17 are in Toronto today. They are demanding action on winter maintenance and road twinning of these major routes. CTV's Eric Tashner has more on the story.
We have less of a life now.
Families who lost loved ones in devastating crashes on the Highway 11-17 corridor can't fathom why these two roads are not safe. It's a crisis they see not being addressed.
They can look at a map, they can tell where their accidents are, where their fatalities are, and it just seems it keeps getting neglected and ignored every time.
Since the start of 2026, 10 people have been tragically killed on these roads, including Cheyenne Viant, who was killed in a head-on collision with a transport truck due to road conditions and ice.
I have to go by the spot 2 times a day, every day, to go to work. Where she took her last breath.
It was wet to here, and then it was ice the whole way.
Jim Bailey's son Dallas was only 19 when he perished in a fiery crash in October 2018.
My son's not the first, he won't be the last. Cheyenne's not the first, she won't be the last. It's just repetitive.
This is Northern Ontario TransCanada.
They took part in watching a documentary produced by the NDP after a 2-week tour of Northern highways. Then, in a zealous discussion,
highway safety, especially on 1117, it's at a crisis level. Everyone in Northern Ontario knows.
Northern NDP MPPs put Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria on the spot.
Minister, what you are doing now is not working. People keep dying on our roads.
Sarkaria responding.
This year alone increased the amount of transportation enforcement officers in the north by over 48 individuals, conducted over 129,000 inspections, which is up over 50%.
Last Thursday, while in North Bay, Premier Doug Ford addressed road fatalities on the Highway 1117 corridor, reiterating early work on the 2+1 highway pilot project north of the city is underway.
We're going full steam on making sure that we expand highways that no government's ever expanded before.
But for these families, action is not coming quickly enough.
There's 2 things in life, excuses and results. We're getting a lot of the first and not a lot of the last.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Shifting gears now, a good day to keep an umbrella handy, but the temperatures aren't too bad out there. With more on the conditions, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Tony, we'll check out some of the current conditions in just a couple of moments, but we've got some weather alerts right now. Of course, lots of rain in the northeast. Our systems map now as this system moves in to specific areas, Perry Sound, Gore Bay, North Bay, lots of rain starting overnight in particular areas. And again, not as significant in others, but there's a chance of sleet, some freezing drizzle, some rain. Just uncomfortable weather for the day tomorrow. It's going to be wet, and we'll get into some of those numbers in just a couple of minutes. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Lowering the speed limit still to come on CTV News at 6. Why do you have to drive slower on a road between Timmins and Iroquois Falls? Right now, though, we're heading to the Parry Sound Town Dock. This live webcam is courtesy of Northern Creations. It's 8 degrees. We will return in just a few minutes.
Pure Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
A motion is headed to Greater Sudbury City Council aimed at diversifying the community's economy. CTV's Ian Campbell reports.
The motion should come as little surprise. Canada is looking to increase its defense spending exponentially. It's put a Buy Canadian policy in place, and it's looking like Sudbury wants a piece of that pie.
Being, a former underground miner, a true northerner, I thought, why can't mining manufacturing companies maybe take a space here?
It's a question that Patel once answered. In his motion to council on Tuesday night, he's asking his colleagues to pass a motion that would see the city declare its strong support for pursuing opportunities in defense, military equipment, and vehicle manufacturing sectors. With a strong background in critical minerals, Patel says the move to further diversify makes sense.
Diversification is important for our city, not just because we're trying to grow the city, but because mining is cyclical. Mining is up, mining will come down. It always has. And what we'd like to see is if we get into manufacturing outside of just mining, we may be able to reduce the impact to our community when mining does come down.
It does have rail links. It is exactly in the right position because of its resource-based economy to supply the defense industry, everything from critical minerals to obviously to nickel and other sort of important metals and current. So that's why it makes sense.
Darby points to a new partnership forged between Sault Ste. Marie's, Algoma Steel and Rochelle as a perfect example of how communities in Northern Ontario are on the radar of these companies. But he adds there's work to be done.
You need to have streamlined regulations, lowering red tape. This is something that, we talk about constantly. That's the first part. The second one is, can we hire?
We're open for business. We've been unlocking properties and looking to make investments into increasing more commercial space. We've done everything from, reducing DC charges to make the city more affordable to build a home. And
what more can Sudbury do? Patel is hopeful staff can answer that in a report if his motion is adopted by council. That vote is slated to take place Tuesday night. Ian Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Hydro One is hosting open houses this week about the proposed Sudbury-Barrie transmission line. Residents in Parry Sound can attend tomorrow at Legion Branch 117 from 4 p.m. to 7. And in Sudbury, Hydro One will host the open house at Centennial Arena in Hanmer Wednesday from 4 to 7 p.m. For those who can't attend in person, a virtual session is scheduled for next Tuesday, April 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. It's going to take a little longer for motorists to get from Timmins to Iroquois Falls. The speed limit on part of the highway connecting the two municipalities has been lowered. CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us more.
Municipal Road 67, the highway connecting Timmins and Iroquois Falls, is now under a speed reduction. For approximately 9.1 kilometers from Highway 101 to the city's boundary, the city of Timmins says the speed limit has been lowered to 50 kilometers per hour, down from 80. City officials declined an interview with CTV News, but say the decision was made due to deteriorating asphalt conditions and will remain in place until further notice. In the meantime, a contractor is going to complete pothole patching and repairs. The mayor of Iroquois Falls says the portion of highway maintained by Iroquois Falls is in better condition.
Well, I fully support their move on that. We bring it to 50 kilometers until they fill the potholes. And that should be done, I'm assuming, this week, So I've been talking with the mayor of Timmins on this and Minister Perry. So we all agreed that was the best move going forward.
In January, the province announced $20 million to upgrade the highway. However, Delorier says the money has yet to be released.
Right now, it's going into the hands of the Treasury Board. And once it's done that phase, we should know when we can start the next phase and starting construction and engineering on that road.
Delorier added he cannot confirm whether construction will begin this year. Municipal Road is approximately 22 kilometers and connects Highway 101 with Highway 11. It's a key route for mining, forestry, and residential traffic. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
A partial roof collapse at a Cochrane school has closed it for the rest of the week. Eileen Wright English Catholic School was shut down today after part of the roof collapsed over the weekend due to heavy snow and precipitation. The Northeastern Catholic District School Board is expecting a full structural safety evaluation later this week. Once the board has the engineer's assessment, it will decide next steps, including if and when it can reopen for in-person learning or if virtual learning will be required. After a long, harsh winter, Conservation Sudbury is watching the potential flooding situation. Right now, the Sudbury region is under a flood watch with double the amount of snowpack in the bush. That story from CTV's Alan Everson.
Water is quickly moving in Junction Creek in Sudbury. Right now, Conservation Sudbury has a flood watch in place, specifically for urban waterways.
The smaller systems like Junction Creek, for example, we're watching those closely. We anticipate or expect and would not be surprised that we have some localized flooding on these watercourses.
With spring conditions finally upon us, Conservation Sudbury has been measuring the snowpack and says there is a lot of snow out there.
A week ago when we measured it, there was about double the amount of snow in the bush to the north and in the city as well. So that is a lot of snow that still has to melt. Our weather, of course, is getting warmer as we're feeling it, and we've got some rain coming on and off. So when you add all of those three things together, we're going to expect rising water levels.
Jorgensen says right now, the larger water courses are not a big concern, but admits that could quickly change depending on weather conditions.
Like the Wanapitei River, the upper parts of the Vermilion River, even the confluence of the Vermilion and the Onaping, those areas, those are large water river systems that have the snow in their headwaters further to the north, and that they are on the rise, but they're slowly rising. They don't react as quickly as the small urban streams do.
Conservation Sudbury says it will update its flood message later this week. The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority has issued a flood watch with significant rainfall anticipated this week. Ellen Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Rick.
Well, Alana's cutting my grass about the rainfall. Yes, we're getting some rainfall in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll find out with our 7-day forecast and a lot more. Here is a system that will bring that precipitation to specific areas and a lot of it in some. So once again, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's check out our current temperatures as we always do at this time. 0 in Moosonee. No really negative temperatures right now. Cochrane at 2 with the clouds. Timmins at 4. Cap at 3. Meanwhile, mainly cloudy in Chapleau at 7. Wawa trying to be sunny at the most. 6 degrees. Sault Ste. Marie, we've got some cloud cover at 6 as well. How about Parry Sound? Mainly cloudy at 8. Meanwhile, in North Bay, 9, some light drizzle. Temiskaming Shores at 8, Kirkland Lake at 5, Greater Sudbury 10, Espanola 13, Elliott Lake 14, mainly cloudy, and Gore Bay, lots of rain coming there, 10 degrees. So some rain coming to specific areas. We'll get into that. 7-day forecast and a lot more. Tony, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. The Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Next on CTV News at 6, the U.S. is blockading a vital oil route and the price of crude rises. And 3 by-elections are happening today with the Liberals 1 seat away from a majority. Mounting international concern over the impact of the American military blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. It took effect today and stretches all the way down Iran's coastline with access in and out of Iranian ports restricted. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Oil prices surged Monday above $100 a barrel as U.S. Navy ships began blocking the Strait of Hormuz, stopping all vessels from entering or exiting Iranian ports.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing.
Since the war began, Iran has heavily restricted access to the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway through which 20% of traded oil normally passes. President Donald Trump says the U.S. doesn't need the strait and that his latest move in the region will get Iran back to the negotiating table after talks broke down this weekend over Iran's refusal to end its nuclear program.
Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal.
The new U.S. blockade seeks to starve Iran of an estimated $200 million a day in oil reserves, a form of economic pressure experts say could backfire. Iran has threatened to strike any vessel that it believes is violating the two-week ceasefire.
Absolutely, we're escalating the conflict. And that is really the intent, escalation. But to what point?
Experts say the blockade likely goes against international law, and several U.S. allies, including Spain, France, Turkey, and the UK, have criticized Trump's move.
My guide from the start of this conflict has always been our national interest. That's why we stayed out of the war and why we continue to stay out of the war.
Economists say Canadians can expect to see higher inflation over the coming months, even if this fight over the strait is somehow solved within days. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
New details tonight on the Ford government's plan to change the way school boards are operated across the province. Trustees will remain, but their powers will be diminished. CTV's Josh Morano has details from Ottawa.
From who controls the budget to how decisions get made, new proposed legislation from the province would reshape how school boards operate.
I can't see this announcement today making anybody feel any better about any of it.
It means school board trustees will be coming back to the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board, but with limited decision-making powers, something parents like Kate Dudley-Logue are concerned about.
If they're basically going to just be figureheads that sit at a table and listen and maybe offer advice that is not listened to by the school board, that's not helpful.
The legislation introduced at Queen's Park on Monday significantly changed the role trustees play.
We will introduce a salary cap, reduce the number of elected trustees to no more than 12 per board, and eliminate most expense accounts except for modest, clearly defined budgets in rural and remote boards.
The plan is to also bring in a new structure to school boards, replacing the Director of Education with a CEO-style role to oversee finances and develop the budget.
Trustees will have the ability to weigh in on the CEO's proposed budget. They will have the ability to make suggestions. And they will have the ability to say yes or no, but not make changes to that budget.
There will also be a separate position, a Chief Education Officer focused on student achievement. The province says the changes are about preventing the kind of financial issues that led to the takeover of boards like Ottawa's last year, but critics say it doesn't target what they're seeing on the ground.
Trustees are the ones bringing to the public light that public education is woefully underfunded, particularly in special education. So obviously, no government wants people criticizing them.
For Dudley-Logue, she says it's a step, but not one in the right direction.
If they can't actually represent the families that require advocacy to help their kids get the supports they need, that's not really helpful.
That was Josh Morano reporting. Voting is underway in 3 federal by-elections, 2 in Toronto and the other in suburban Montreal. A Liberal victory in just one of those ridings will secure a majority government. The vote comes on the heels of Prime Minister Mark Carney attracting 5 opposition MPs to cross the floor. 2 of those by-elections are Liberal strongholds, once held by Chrystia Freeland and Bill Blair. The other race is in Terrebonne, Quebec, after last year's election result was invalidated by the Supreme Court. Polls close at 8:30 this evening. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Tony, I certainly hope you and everyone else had a great weekend. Different weather, to say the least, but at least we had a glimpse or two of some sunshine, as Amanda told us last Friday. Forecast radar right now. Sorry about this. We've got some rain. I'm always the bad guy when it comes to the weather. So we've got lots of rain in the Northeast for tomorrow. We'll get to some of those numbers momentarily, and that trend will continue in a couple of days as well. We'll get some sun and cloud, and yeah, we'll get more rain as well. How about overnight conditions? Morning showers in Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, morning showers. Timmins, chance of sleet. Temiskaming Shores, drizzle, freezing drizzle. North Bay, drizzle and some fog, and of course North Bay will get some rain. Partly cloudy in Moosonee for tomorrow. Caphurst Chance of flurries, freezing drizzle, rain drizzle in Wawa, Gore Bay, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain tomorrow. Parry Sound, 15 to 25 millimeters. Morning showers as well. North Bay, about 15 to 20 millimeters of rain. Sudbury Nickel Belt, here we go. Showers tomorrow at 6. Chance of showers Wednesday, rain Thursday. So that system, it's not going to go away. It's going to leave the area. Then you're going to get another system following that with more rain on Thursday. Friday at 10. Showers Saturday. Chance of flurries on the cool down. Only 2 to start off the week. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, showers at 12. Chance of showers Wednesday. Rain on Thursday at 11. Sun and cloud Friday. Friday is going to be the nicest day of the week. Saturday, showers at 9. Chance of flurries on Sunday. Only 3. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing? Sleet for a couple of days. Chance of showers on Thursday at 9. 8 degrees Friday, sun and cloud. Again, chance of showers at 5, dropping down to -1 on Sunday with the chance of flurries at 60%. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, rain drizzle tomorrow at 5. Chance of morning showers. Wednesday, of course, at 8. Rain, 10 degrees on Thursday. Friday, we've got sun and cloud at 10. 8 Saturday, chance of showers, and the chance of flurries. After the cool down, you go from 10, 8 to +1 on Sunday. Then there's North Bay and West Nipissing. So 10 to 15, maybe 20 millimeters of rain tomorrow. 8 degrees your expected high. Chance of showers Wednesday, rain Thursday at 12. 11 Friday, sun and cloud. Chance of showers Saturday at 10. And the chance of flurries at 40%. Sunday, only 3 degrees. How about that pick of the day? Bev Bell, a regular contributor to the show, sent this pick in. Canada geese back home. She says, hopefully, this is the last of the winter weather. This was taken in Mattawa. Thanks, Bev. Appreciate it. Hey, volunteer firefighters in Goulet River are helping bridge the gap for the local food bank and its clients. We'll have that story from Corey Nordstrom coming up.
Some improvements have been made to help prevent homelessness for those discharged from the Sudbury jail, but organizations that work with these individuals say more work is still needed. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
When an inmate is released from this correctional institution, they may or may not have a plan in place for housing.
There isn't housing for our clients, and oftentimes when someone's incarcerated, they may not know when their next court date is, or they attend court and are released that day, and then there's no time to plan.
A 2025 report from the John Howard Society of Ontario found more than 7,400 people released from provincial correctional facilities have no fixed address. The CEO of the John Howard Society of Sudbury wants to see more pre-release planning coming from the Sudbury jail. But given that it's a mostly remand facility, inmates here are only held while their cases are going through the court system.
Some people are there overnight, some people are there 10 days, 30 days, all the way up to 2 years, if not even more than that. The pre-release planning can be difficult when you have several hundred people over there to just a couple of social workers.
The head of the Elizabeth Fry Society of Northeastern Ontario says a big challenge is paying for housing, since many lose assistance like Ontario Works when they're behind bars.
I mean, if you don't have that income to work with when you're released, then you're going to lose what you may have had as housing, and then have a hard time to be able to, take the time to get the income back in place and then find something that you can actually live in.
Both Collins and Berghammer say more affordable housing would help, including transitional housing specifically for those released from jail. In a statement, a spokesperson says the Ministry of the Solicitor General works with municipalities and partners to support those released, including arranging travel to home communities and establishing connections with third-party supports. Despite the challenges, Berghammer says there's been some improvements, but more work is still needed. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
A new pilot program for a Sault Ste. Marie food bank is looking to better connect with rural residents. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has the details of the new Goulet River Access Link.
Volunteer firefighters will soon be helping bridge the gap for Goulet River residents that need greater access to a food bank. The new partnership with St. Vincent Place came from the mind of a Goulet resident and longtime food bank volunteer.
We get a lot of feedback from some of the clients from the rural communities who are coming in and using the food bank here in Sault Ste. Marie that is often challenging. You know, car trouble is one of the biggest things I hear. They have to wait and get a ride from somebody else.
When this opportunity came up, we've really jumped at it, and we're really grateful to Chris and Shauna for building the relationship.
Locals can register for the food bank by visiting the Gooley Fire Hall from 6:30 to 8 p.m. tonight. It's something that will be done every second Monday at the same time and place.
And then the Gooley Fire and Rescue will actually come and pick up the food from here and then deliver it to the people's homes. This really alleviated one of the challenges we had of being able to have to store food out in Gooley. So now we can do the registrations, keep people registering in their home community, and then bring the food to them based on the ad need.
The intake process is pretty much exactly the same as if they were to come into town. So we need to see ID for everyone in the family. And then we'll just go through a few questions, basically making sure that they're eligible, which is really only whether or not they've accessed within the last 2 months.
Despite the new efforts to provide food hampers to even more in the area, St. Vincent Place isn't bursting at the seams with donations. In fact, it's the opposite.
Donations have been slowing down, but we also know that the need is still there and we can't ignore it.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
New research published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal today confirms cancer is still the leading cause of death in this country. But as CTV's Vanessa Wright explains, not all the numbers are bad news.
Fighting cancer is very emotional.
Tiffany Clark was diagnosed with blood cancer in 2022. It took only 1 week from the time doctors suspected the disease for her to be admitted.
I then spent the next 7 months in the hospital, including some time in the ICU and learning how to walk again.
After 2 years of chemotherapy treatments, she's now in remission.
I have 3 nephews and a niece that were quite young when I was diagnosed, and I know it was incredibly difficult for them.
Cancer is still the leading cause of death in Canada. A new study by the Canadian Medical Association Journal estimates more than 250,000 cancer cases and nearly 90,000 cancer-related deaths in 2026. 42% of people in Canada will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Lung cancer is the most prominent, with nearly 33,000 cases expected this year. Breast, prostate, and colorectal cancer follow closely behind. But there is good news. 2/3 of those cancer types have seen declines in death rates thanks to advances in research and screening.
It's really showing the progress around tobacco control and smoking cessation efforts having impact on reducing lung cancer incidence.
Even better news, 4 in 10 cancer cases can be prevented through healthy living.
Having a healthy body weight, eating well, moving more, sitting less, and limiting alcohol consumption as well can really be supportive.
An impact that has turned Clark into more than just a survivor, but an advocate.
To me, it's really important that we focus on research and preventative measures to try to bring these numbers down.
That story from Vanessa Wright. Are you ready to start planting? Gardeners, don't worry, your time will come. The owner of French River Gardens south of Sudbury says there are some important things you should know. Should know your growing zone and which plants will thrive and which won't. Also, if the ground is still solid and frozen, you may have to be a little more patient.
Happy planting, have fun with it. You learn from your mistakes. The biggest thing is the right plant for the right location for your needs is the best thing that'll start you off on a right track.
Zoll Dinner adds, don't start your seeds too soon because then you're trying to hold them back before getting them into the ground. A glimpse into Sudbury's past was unlocked over the weekend. A time capsule that was tucked away in one of the pillars at Tom Davey Square in October 2001 was opened Saturday. Photos and maps of the city 25 years ago were found inside, along with information on the School of Medicine, the Cancer Center, and Snow Lab, all of which were just being created at that time. Sudbury Mayor Paula Five says one of the most surprising things found was how accurate Science North's predictions were about its future. A historic building in Sudbury is being transformed. Part of the old Northern Brewery's building on Lorne Street is being torn down. The property is going to be the new home of Wacky Wings. It's a popular restaurant that was forced to move out of downtown to make way for the city's new events center. National championships still ahead on CTV News at 6. On the weekend, North Bay hosted high school students from across the country.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Warmer temperatures mean snowmobile trails are starting to close. Most snowmobile trails managed by the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs in the Northeast are closed for the season. Trails north of Matheson still have limited availability, while trails around Cochrane remain open. You can visit the OFSC website for the latest closures using the trail map. High school science, technology, engineering, and math students from across Canada were in North Bay over the weekend for the country's first ever STEM Racing 2026 Canadian National Championships. STEM Racing is recognized as the world's most prestigious STEM competition. The program challenges teams to design, manufacture, and race miniature compressed air-powered cars, while also developing professional marketing, branding, and business strategies.
It would be insane, experience of a lifetime, and it would be great to compete on the world stage. A lot of people want to be engineers in the future. I love gaining experience leading teams and stuff like that, so it's just everything I want to do. It aligns with a lot of my teammates' career options, so that's why we're doing this.
Everybody's into this stuff. Building the car is also fun because you get to do your own ideas, you get to customize them, and working with everybody is another big factor.
That race car is then fired down a 70-foot track at 50 miles an hour with an 8 gram of CO2. This competition isn't just a race, it's about their pit displays, it's about their enterprise judging, it's about their design and engineering, and their ability to do a verbal presentation.
The two teams representing Canada at the World Championships in Singapore will be Team Ignite from Toronto and Team Northern Rapids from Alberta. A Sault Ste. Marie councillor is proposing a naming of sorts at the local curling club to honor one of the city's most famous athletes. Councillor Matthew Scott is proposing renaming a section of Anita Boulevard in front of the Sault Curlers Association Team Jacobs Way. It's in honor of two gold medal wins for Saultite Brad Jacobs and one for locals Ryan Harnden, E.J. Harnden, Caleb Flaxey, and coach Tom Coulterman. Scott says it's a fitting tribute for a team that's gone so far unmatched.
It's just one of those things where everybody here is very proud of them. I can't think of a single person who wasn't glued to the TV for both Olympics, even the Briars at the time, right? Like putting Northern Ontario on the map for the Briars. It was just fantastic, right? Like we beam with pride.
If approved by council, this would apply to just a section of Anita Boulevard, ensuring the Curling Association would be located at one Team Jacobs Way. No other properties would be impacted. That vote happens tonight. To playoff action now, an incredible effort by the North Bay Battalion Sunday. Troop snapminder Mike McIver faced 58 shots, helping the troops hold the lead until the Brantford Bulldogs would tie it late in the third period. The game would go into double overtime. The Bulldogs fighting for the victory. They now lead the series 3-0 with Game 4 in North Bay tomorrow night. The Sioux Greyhounds also trailing in their series after their first two games in Kitchener this weekend, losing Game 1 3-1 and Game 2 8-5. They'll be back at GFL Memorial Gardens tomorrow night for Game 3. The love of family and cooking great food has made a Windsor duo a big hit on social media. CTV's Gary Archibald introduces us to Justin Borelli and his cooking partner, his 9-year-old Nona.
Yeah. Look.
I love you.
Yeah. This is my buddy right here.
Yeah.
Over the past year, the love Justin Borelli and his Nona share for cooking has become an Instagram sensation. Their Instagram page alone, showing authentic Italian cuisine, has 64,000 followers and counting, and they have ambitions for the future.
He asked, are we going to make a cookbook with all your recipes?
Please take.
I think that's the next project.
We can try.
We can try. All recipes, Treviso, Veneto, maybe a few Calabrese in there.
Nona, now in her 90s, has dementia, but there is tremendous love and support from family and friends, and now thousands more online.
Perfecto? Yeah? It's ready to go? Okay, I'm gonna do the mantecare here.
I don't get it. Good.
Okay.
It's always been more about kinship, family roots, and love than cooking for these two, and it seems people from all walks of life can relate.
But I was noticing that her recipes were, no one was gonna carry these things on if I didn't spend that time with her and learn these things. And these were things that, from my childhood, I would look forward to on Christmas. I would look forward to on Easter, and the fact that those might not be there down the road if we didn't learn these things from her, that's why I started doing this, yeah.
And so the cooking, sharing, and the bonding continues for this dynamic duo, and the extended family and friends keeps growing well beyond the kitchen.
And that was Gary Archibald reporting. Entertainment news now, beginning with a look back and ahead at a popular film franchise. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Report.
Remember?
Lionsgate has released this look at Hunger Games characters from the original movies and who plays them a quarter century earlier in The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. The latest film in the franchise hits theaters November 20th.
You know, confident, bordering on arrogant, but it's so attractive because, you know, it's backed up by skill.
It's not arrogance if you can back it up. Rosamund Pike has won an Olivier Award, London Theatre's version of the Tony Awards, for her star turn in the drama Inter Alia. The Best Actress honor is Pike's first Olivier Award.
Producer, pop star, manager, Peter Asher.
Even if you don't know his name, you know his legacy. Peter Asher, Everywhere Man, looks at how the performer who rose to fame as half of Peter and Gordon began working behind the scenes with Paul McCartney and became a manager and/or producer for James Taylor, Linda Ronstadt, and other legends. The documentary debuts in theaters June 19th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
With Middle East peace talks collapsing on the weekend, oil stocks were expected to rise today and other stocks dropped, but both gained. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more.
The price of oil spiked back up again today, with the U.S. now moving to block the Strait of Hormuz. West Texas Intermediate shot up to $103 a barrel this morning before settling back to under $98 by the end of the trading day. Traffic through the key shipping route has dramatically slowed down after Donald Trump threatened to eliminate Iranian ships that come close to the U.S. blockade. The Canadian dollar is up to $72.53. West Texas Intermediate is up to $97.84. Western Canadian Select is down to $72.40. And the TSX gained 183 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $7.56, closing the day at $47.41.53 U.S. an ounce. Silver down 39 cents to end the day at $75.57. Copper slipped 3 cents to $5.72, and nickel up 20 cents, ending the day at $7.92 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
How wet will it be tomorrow in the Northeast, Tony? It'll be wet. Let's check out our forecast for tomorrow. 6-inch showers at Greater Sudbury. Timmins, chance of sleet at 4. 12-inch showers, and that will continue into tomorrow evening with the risk of a thunderstorm as well. How about North Bay? 10 to 15 millimeters at 8. 13 in Parry Sound. 15 to 25 millimeters. Gore Bay, by the way, 15 to 20. With the rain tomorrow. Temiskaming Shores, 5 degrees, rain, drizzle. So a wet one for tomorrow. Sorry about that, but we got to take the rain to get rid of the snow. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. It's time to talk turkey and not your dinner plate variety. Wild turkeys are ruffling some feathers with residents in the Ottawa area. CTV's Tyler Fleming tells us the bird's population is growing, and so are their attitudes.
Wild turkeys are taking over Ottawa, or at least for some it feels that way.
There's two toms that are strutting their stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's mating season.
In this neighborhood along Prince of Wales by the Rideau River, resident Jim Hagerman says around half a dozen call this street home.
There are pets around here, really, but some of the neighbors aren't too happy about them.
I haven't really had that much of a problem with them, but I can understand why people are concerned because they are big birds.
Pushing past 20 pounds and usually shy until they're not.
They've scared a lot of people in the neighborhood.
This rafter of turkeys are known for some foul behavior. Go!
Even delivery guys come and the delivery guys are afraid to get out of their trucks.
And turkeys don't seem too fazed, well, by anything. Here they're roosting on an Orleans lawn. And why? Why is the turkey crossing the O train tracks Wednesday morning? Whether it's bravado or bird brain, residents are getting ruffled.
These turkeys take the cake. They go after people at bus stops. They are by your car when you arrive home.
Ottawa Councillor Riley Brockington says it's time for these birds to fly the coop.
We're at the point, though, where I do believe these turkeys need to be relocated. We are not able to coexist successfully because of how aggressive these turkeys are.
But until the city settles on what to do, here's some turkey tips. Don't try to pet or feed them.
No more bird feeders, certainly for the summer.
If you see a turkey, keep your distance. If you're in a car, roll up the window.
You gotta honk your horn and go at them, and then they'll take off.
If you're afraid of them, I think they sense it, and they'll come towards you. But if you just ignore them, everything's fine.
And here's a fun fact you can gobble up. Wild turkeys are the second heaviest bird capable of flight in Canada. First place goes to the trumpeter swan. And yes, we have those in Ottawa too. Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
What a great story. And folks, before we go, I just wanted to put a big shout out there to the residents in Whitefish along with Lively. My wife and I went to an event on the weekend and those people were terrific. More news at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.